back to KARE 11 News Now. Some losses can never be made right, but today one Minnesota family got back a small piece of what the Holocaust took from them. An Austrian diplomat came all the way here to return a 90-year-old piece of artwork. Gordon Severson has more on the history that it carries.
First of all, thank you all for joining us for this significant event.
The year was 1939. Edward Epstein, a Jewish businessman and father, was frantically selling his personal belongings to raise money to flee the country.
Because of his religion, they just said goodbye.
Jackie Sundell, his closest surviving relative, says the Nazis stole his personal belongings and sent him to jail for 9 months. And when he got out, he was never the same.
Very horrible to have to sell your things because of your religion.
Among his personal belongings was a small painting, a watercolor from 1847 of an Austrian count who served in the military.
Wow, beautiful.
And now that painting has traveled all the way to Minnesota so it can be reunited with its rightful owner.
And where's the picture been? And how did they find it? I'm like a detective.
The painting was discovered in a military museum by Austrian government officials who are researching artwork that was stolen by the Nazis.
We have a federal commission that was established in 1998 that is systematically going through all the paintings that are in Austrian federal museums.
Johannes Gassner is the Deputy Consul General for Austria in New York, and he traveled all this way to personally return the painting to Epstein's family.
This is the first time that I get to do this.
Gassner says there are many other pieces of artwork that are still being researched and could one day make their way here to America. But rarely, he says, does the research lead to a reunion like this.
Great importance for us, for the Austrian government as a whole, to do this in a meaningful way.
Because for them, this isn't just artwork. There's a deeper meaning behind this kind gesture. A country that is looking to right the wrongs of the past.
We have to forgive.
And for Sondel, whose aunt's father is Epstein, it's another step towards healing and forgiveness for everything that was taken from her family.
I actually lost 3 grandparents in the Holocaust, so you can understand it's not really the picture, it's the symbol of what this whole thing is about, because I grew up without grandparents because of this. And for the whole world, not just for me, for everyone that went through this.
Family members tell me they don't have a spot picked out yet for this piece of artwork. They really want to find a way to showcase it and share it with the community, because they say it's more than just a piece of artwork. They say it's a story and a symbol, and they want to share it with others. Gordon Severson, KARE 11 News.
The family says that there are other pieces of artwork that are still missing. The Austrian government has a list, but officials say most of those items are likely in private collections or in other countries that don't have policies in place to return stolen artwork to its original owner. Well, this afternoon in New Jersey, there's a new push to save a historic tree from a disease that threatens to leave the town without its beloved centerpiece. Adam Harding has more.
The brittle cinder runs right in here.
Tree expert Todd Mastroboni has a pretty important job these days. He's the man tasked with trying to save one of North Jersey's most breathtaking beauties.
The tree's in beautiful health.
Known in Westwood as the kissing tree, it's been a borough staple for an estimated 250 years. You can still see the carvings of initials along the trunk, many of them dating back decades.
It's an asset to the community. It's a historic tree. It is a centerpiece in town.
But it's also diseased, and that has some questioning how much longer it can remain standing. About a year ago, the borough says it was diagnosed with what's called brittle cinder fungus, and there's no cure.
We have to do whatever it takes to save the tree.
Yet borough administrators refuse to let it die. They've made the decision to do whatever possible to stave off the disease, from treating the trunk to decompacting the soil to adding mulch and building a new base to promote healthy growth. Next week, they'll look to add fencing.
When we learned that it was diseased and the possibility that it would have to come down for safety issues, it was all hands on deck.
At this point, their best hope is the tree's growth will outpace the disease, with plans to test it twice a year. Right now, officials say it's healthy enough to remain.
It's not just a tree. It is the iconic staple of downtown Westwood. It's the first thing you see when you come at any point of this intersection between Broadway and Washington. You see the tree. And if you lose it, it would be devastating for everybody.
Well, with more than 100 dollhouses and thousands of miniature furniture pieces, a shop in Massachusetts is claiming the title of the world's largest dollhouse store. Kate Hainwich shows us how one man turned his passion for restoring old dollhouses into a career.
What started as a dream
When I was a little boy, I wanted a dollhouse more than anything.
is now more than Nathaniel Ellis ever hoped for.
I pinch myself that this is what I do for work.
Ellis began flipping used dollhouses in a laundry room 24 years ago as a hobby.
I would fix them up and figure out like what was their story, what style.
Hundreds of houses later, Flip This Dollhouse is known worldwide.
I didn't think it was going to end up being the largest dollhouse shop in the world, but here we are and I couldn't be happier.
The store, the home of over 100 dollhouses, big and small, ranging from as low as $99 to $25,000.
That one is pretty big. It's like 22 rooms and it's the size of an elephant.
No two houses are the same.
I figure out like what speaks to me about the house, what's going to be the story or the theme or the design style.
Down to the last tiny detail.
Sometimes I like to make it look lived in and look like something's happening, maybe a party or some sort of event.
Ellis says restoring these houses, some dating as far as 1880, can take months.
Flooring, wallpaper, furniture, rugs, curtains, lighting, everything has to coordinate.
These dollhouses and antique pieces have drawn visitors from around the globe, even being featured in the backdrop of Taylor Swift's Eras Tour. The backdrop showing dollhouse pieces from the Fall River shop on fire as part of the show.
I actually went and saw her concert in the theater and it shows the dollhouse burning down in that, and I was so excited.
The shop also gaining attention from Congressman Jake Auchincloss, who visited last week, and serving as a home for anyone who wishes to see a dollhouse.
The little boy in me that wanted a dollhouse growing up, I now get to see little boys and girls come into my shop and get a dollhouse at like 4 or 5 years old. So that is very rewarding.
Well, stick with us. We got more news and weather coming up after the break.